Kaiju from Japan. I'm the Tokyo Toy Bastard, and today I'm headed to Big Camera, the building right there, to find the new Shin Ultraman toys. They were released today. Let's see what they've got.
Alright guys, we're back at my house and we're going to take a quick look at each of these figures and I'm going to give my thoughts on them. Up first, Noronga. This is actually the first Noronga figure I've ever purchased. I'm not super familiar with this kaiju, but I do know that he's one of the originals and he is basically just a reformatted, reused Baragon suit. They've updated him for this movie. Here he is with his tag and card. Here it says Noronga, Shin Ultraman at the bottom, and then on the back, Shin Ultraman logo, and Bandai Movie Monsters. And yep, that's it. So yeah, these just dropped today. Pretty fast because these weren't even announced until was it like last weekend or something? So I was surprised that they were on shelves so quickly after the announcement. I'm not going to give a detailed critique, I just want to show you guys he's up close. Yep, that is Noronga. I will bring these guys back to compare with some other things here in just a moment. Gabora! Again, a kaiju I'm not super familiar with from Ultraman, but I do know that he looked very different in the original TV series. Once again, it was just a reused Baragon suit. However, for this revamped version, they have given him much more of a redesign compared to Noronga. Especially with his face here. And if you watch the trailer, these things on his back here are spinning, which look really cool. And they've given it a really nice kind of copper paint job. His face is very reminiscent of one of the angels from Evangelion. And I really like that, since I am an Evangelion collector. And I'm excited to see Ultraman battle this guy and see what else he can do, because I know that in the trailer, his these, whatever you want to call these things, petal tendrils are closed up and spinning, and the figure itself actually spins. This part spins around, and the head inside can also be adjusted accordingly. So yeah, very cool little figure. Both beautiful, beautiful specimens. And now, the man you've all been waiting for. Ultraman himself. Let's take a look at the figure. Here on the tag, this is the promotional image that they first released last year, showcasing Ultraman. And that caused a big stir online because he didn't have the color timer. People are complaining now, after seeing the trailer, he doesn't have a color timer! Well, are you really an Ultraman fan? Because if you were, you probably would have been following the fucking news over the past year that's already been a thing. We already knew that for a year already. Get with it. Yeah, so just a quick history on that. The original designer of Ultraman, Toru Narita, created Ultraman without a color timer. Anyway, I'm not going to go into the details about that. You can find details about that online. Let's talk about the figure. So the figure is very nice. It's very slim. I'm sure they used the 3D data from this image to just create this this figure right here. It does have articulation. I didn't really talk about the articulation of the Kaiju. Sorry, you've got their standard articulation with those guys. Same with him. His arms move up and down, and his waist swivels. No leg articulation. This is a Bandai Movie Monsters. No head articulation. You know, it's just your basic standard Bandai toy. You don't really expect much else out of this series of toys. On the back here, that's his back, that's his butt. The paint apps are mostly pretty nice. You can see that there is a bit of paint bleed under his eye on this one. His toes are pointed, kind of like the Nisei Ultraman, the fake Ultraman from one of the other Ultraman series, which I still haven't watched. He's done in kind of a reflective, kind of aluminum looking color, and then the red on them is actually quite dark. So I actually wanted to compare him to a vintage Poppy soft vinyl toy that is about the same size, and you can see here the difference in the colors. He's much darker. So let's get a quick measurement on these guys. The Ultraman stands at about 17 centimeters tall. Ow! I'll probably cut the card off of mine just because it weighs him down and it's hard to stand him up with the card on. See what I mean?
Oh no, he removed it!
Calm down, guys. It's just Bandai. Let's see if he stands. Voila.
Hi guys. Oh, sorry.
And one final little comparison shot here so you can see all three of these guys lined up next to each other. Excited to see him smash those guys up. And the final figure that I picked up that we're going to take a look at today is this guy right here.
Ultra action figure.
Ultra action figure. So it's kind of like a cheapo kid version of an SH Figure Arts. Now, there is an SH Figure Arts version of Shin Ultraman. I didn't see any in stores today, but this is a nice little cheap replacement until that comes out. However, I'm actually more excited about this. I don't collect SH Monster Arts, and I kind of like more cheapo, kind of hokey, goofy looking things. Although this one looks really nice in the packaging, the promotional pictures that I've seen say something else entirely. So let's get this guy open and compare him to some other figures that I have. Alright. So this guy doesn't come with any extra attachments or anything. He's basically pre-assembled with everything that he is supposed to feature, which makes him very simple. And yeah, let me adjust my camera here and we'll get a better shot of him. Okay, here he is, kind of in that same pose from the packaging, although it doesn't look quite as bad as I initially expected. Let's give him a quick turnaround here. So you'll notice in the back here, he is made like, you know, your standard cheap action figure. Lots of screws in the back. But, you know, that's actually something that I enjoy in my action figures. I like action figures with screws in the back. Don't ask me why, I'm weird. So let's take a closer look at him here. He is very, very nicely painted. He's actually painted better than the Bandai Movie Monsters figure. And check out his hand here. He's got finger articulation. Albeit it's kind of split like a Vulcan. But yeah, you can articulate his fingers so that he can have a couple fingers up like this. Like he's gonna pinch your... Or he can open his hand completely. Or he could be drinking a fancy cup of tea.
Indeed.
His arms move around on this joint right here. Got your standard elbow joint there. And his wrist can turn as well. On his head, His head's on a ball joint, but it doesn't move a whole lot, but you know, it's enough for me. His waist has no swivel, however his legs are on a similar joint to his shoulders, and they can move back and forth, left to right, so he can do all kinds of dancing. And his knees bend. One thing you'll notice that on his knees, when they do bend, the red plastic shows through. They're not painted the silver color, so that's a bit awkward. However, that's the kind of thing that I like in my weird, cheap toys. So for me, that's an A+. On his little elf boots here, he is also on a ball joint. So you can swivel and twist his legs any which way you like. Very nice. So let's put him in some interesting poses to see his full dynamic range of posability. As you can see here, you can get him into your standard, you know, swatch pose. And it doesn't look too bad. I mean, although his fingers are not completely straight. However, if you're going for super realism, you should definitely just pay a few thousand yen more and get the SH Figure Arts. Let's put in some more poses here.
Honey, will you marry me?
Oh, darling, of course I will.
And finally here you can see the Ultra action figure next to the Bandai Movie Monsters version, which is about a ½ inch taller. You'll notice here you can see the difference in color. Side by side, from the back, face to face. Now, I also wanted to compare this guy to this really cheap, basically candy toy model kit thing that came out a few years ago, also produced by Bandai, that was sold in a box with some candy or gum for less than 1,000 yen, probably something around 600 yen, 700 yen. And it's got similar mechanics and makeup. However, it's a much cheaper toy, and you can tell side by side that this actually has some extra effort. And I'm surprised that this one right here is actually a bit brighter than this candy toy, but they're about the same weight. So I think the components are very similar. But yeah, toys like this, I loves. And as a free bonus that has nothing to do with any of those, I have this beautiful Korean bootleg Ultraman 7 Super Sentai Ultra Sentaiven from my buddy Tony at Retro World Korea. Alright guys, that's gonna do it for this video. I will be posting more Shin Ultraman videos as things start to be released here in Japan. I'm very excited to see the movie. Fingers crossed that it still comes out this summer. Maybe. We'll see. Maybe not. Until next time, swatch!